Good evening, gentlemen. I told you I'll be back. It is your boy Sirius. Welcome to today's stream. The title is They Don't Understand and They Don't Want to. And the whole reason for this live stream today is I'm going to react along with the Grey Ghost to this panel that think they know what they're talking about when it comes to men, but they have no idea what the fuck they're talking about. I was bamboozled when I was watching Hammerhand's live stream about this panel. And I'm like, you know what? I can't put into words. I don't have enough time to type everything that I think about the panel. I can't type it out in the chat. I have to react to it. And I already know that the Gray Ghost is going to have a field day with this video. Because holy shit. I was questioning if I was crazy or not. But before we begin, let me see who's up in this building. Cuban Speed, of course. You're one of the first people here always. Psy was good. Sergeant Grinch. The Fish Got Nukes. Welcome back. I don't know how to say that, but hey, what's going on, man? Vital? I can't say that right now. But hey, what's going on, man? Lego My Ego, welcome back. Vixen, what's good? Who else am I missing? I know I'm missing somebody. Dr. Magnum. David Graham. And that's pretty much and MGTOW Balance. What is going on? Welcome everybody. Welcome. And we're going to invite the one, the only Grey Ghost. What's going on, Grey Ghost?
Hey, good evening. Heck, freaking latest video has just taken off. So thanks to everyone who's gone and given that a look.
Well, you already pretty much predicted that you're going to be pissing off a lot of people. Watch, it's going to happen. You're gonna make an enemy just off of that one video alone.
Oh, I hope so. I so hope so.
Okay, let me go over there real quick. Let me see how you're doing. Oh yeah, you're doing very good right now. I'm not going to tell you guys what it is. Just go to the Grey Ghost's channel so you can hook him up with some views.
Yeah, so I saw Chronic put it out like 6-7 hours ago. So yeah, big ups to Chronic.
Shit, I'll do the same after the stream. Actually, no, I'll wait till tomorrow morning. Wait till I get the most amount of people online. Because this video needs to go viral. It was so fucking hilarious. Sad, but funny.
Yeah.
So, what's your prediction on this panel that we're going to be reacting to?
Well, I did catch some of Hammerhand's stuff, and like honestly, it's going to be interesting trying to dissect what they say. Like we're going to be taking this video and probably going at it for a good 3 hours solid. And we're still probably not going to be able to do a full autopsy.
Yeah, it might need to be a part 2 because honestly, I don't even want to rush it. I really want to make sure that whoever's watching this understand that modern women don't know what the fuck they're talking about when it comes to men. They really don't. And to prepare, can you keep them distracted? I'm gonna get water and stuff because it's gonna be a long evening.
So yeah, a little bit of preamble, I suppose. And this is the problem with videos like these: is it's gone back to the point where I don't even know, are these people sincere? Do they even believe what they're saying? Why do they even make this kind of stuff? Like, if they don't believe what they're saying, is it like a sewing circle or a book club? Did they just get together to talk about this kind of stuff? Did they, or do they genuinely think, genuinely think that they're helping? Do they believe their own bullshit? It's like, it's kind of like the Emperor's New Clothes moment. You wonder, does the Emperor believe that he's actually wearing amazing clothing and that everyone else, and that anyone who doesn't see them is an idiot? Or does he realize, oh shit, I'm naked, but I can't afford to lose face, so I'll just instill doubt into everyone else's hearts? I don't know. Do these women, do they actually believe the things that they're saying? Or can they even comprehend what they're saying? Because maybe they're just saying this shit without even actually putting thought to it. Like, that's one of the problems with like being a man and like understanding this much about women. It's kind of weird trying to imagine being one of them, like actually being in their heads, because you can project yourself into the body and rationalize why they're saying the arguments. But at some point it feels like, why is my cat just staring into empty space? Like, does the cat actually have a reason for doing this behavior? Or is this something that the cat doesn't even process? They're just spacing out.
It's just reacting on instinct. It's just doing it just because.
Yeah, because some of the stuff they're definitely like just spewing out phrases. Like literally an AI would create a more coherent sentence.
I completely agree. Like when you hit them with some complex questions where it requires critical thinking, their feelings cannot compute with rational questions. So they don't know how to respond or answer. So it just comes out all mumbo jumbo.
Anyway, let's get this shit so started, gentlemen. Oh fuck.
Yeah, I'm not gonna start all the way in the beginning because it's just a bunch of introduction.
Yeah, it's them fucking introducing each other and trying to sell their books.
Yeah, fucking ugh. But before I begin, what's up?
No. If they skip over, there is one part I remember I wanted to talk about, but we'll see whether it's included here. If not, I'll mention it because it comes up early.
Okay, it's all good. We can do that. But if you wanna support your boy before we begin, if you can donate Cash App / Sirius. The link is on top of the chat. Any donation is appreciated if you feel that I am worthy of your investment. Thank you very much. Let's go ahead and begin this journey. I'm not ready. Okay, let's go.
I tried to prepare by knowing everything I could possibly know about like pregnancy and labor, and it still was like, it just kind of all of a sudden it's like being on a roller coaster and you're like clicking up to the top and you don't know what kind of roller coaster it is, and there's just like no way to know how the rest of the ride is going to go. Is it going to be one of those roller coasters that just drops you?
Okay, I'm fast forwarding. Hold up, because this is what the fuck. Okay, let us continue again.
Considered by many to be girly. Let's talk about men and what's wrong with them. And what's wrong with the way that we're talking about
right away.
So that's how you want to start your argument in bad faith?
Right away. Let's talk about men and what's wrong with them.
Okay, but they don't want us to talk about women's wrongs, though. You know, like we are the evil ones. Oh God. Anyway, let's continue.
What's wrong with men. So there's an article that came out in the New Yorker this week, and it's a review of a book by Richard V. Reeves, who is a British American academic who studies inequality and social mobility. He wrote a book called Of Boys and Men.
Well, that's a waste of a degree. Yes, please do. What's his name? Richard V. Reeves?
Richard V. Reeves. Let's see what else he's done. Let's see. So first off, British. Can't spell cuck without the UK.
Hey.
Yeah, joined the joined a liberal Democrat as a special advisor, urged them to become a radical centrist party.
Oh God.
Yeah, he's written for The Observer, The Guardian, policy advisor to Frank Field, who, God damn, that's
What?
not a flattering photo. Like Frank Field, like his image, like that is not flattering.
What's his position?
Frank Field, well, he was. He is still alive. Member of Parliament. He was the Minister for Welfare Reform.
God damn. Okay.
So basically, this guy's done a lot of work to build up the welfare state.
Okay. Yeah. The staple of what a liberal is, a Democrat. But we will continue. I'm gonna read up on this guy later on.
Why the modern male is struggling, why it matters, and what to do about it. So I'm going to read a little excerpt from this review from The New Yorker. Men now confront the prospect of cultural redundancy, Reeves writes. He sees telltale signs in the way that boys are floundering at school and men are leaving work and failing to perform their paternal obligations. All this, he says, has landed hardest on Black men whose life prospects have been decimated by decades of mass incarceration, and on men without college degrees whose wages have fallen in real terms, whose life expectancies have dropped markedly, and whose families are fracturing at astonishing rates. Things have become so bad so quickly that emergency social repairs are needed.
What kind of social repairs?
Yeah, now here's the thing. Is he wrong about the problems? No, technically, all of those are actually things that are problems.
Agreed. I agree with
Emergency social repairs, like, I wonder if the guy who benefits from holding government positions, being paid to talk and dictate social reform, might advocate for social reform as the solution to this kind of stuff. Because essentially he's arguing that the solution to men's ills is increase the welfare state.
Yeah, not actually fix the problem. They want to agitate it even more.
Because that's the thing. He's looking at all those things. He's not saying, well, there's a root symptom behind all these. There's a cause behind all this. He's saying, here's all the problems. Now let's increase the welfare state, i.e., let's increase my power to solve it.
Yeah, give me more power, more money. IY fan says a radical centralist sounds like what Tim Pool tries to portray himself as. To me, however, he's just someone who takes every side at once so he can always be with the winners. Yeah.
Yeah. Like a radical centrist, because a centrist is not someone who is the center of all politics. A centrist is someone who is directly on the Overton window. Like wherever the current politics are, that's where the centrist is. Like they are always advocating to, let's hear out both sides. The truth lies somewhere in the middle.
Oh, that's not Tim Pool.
The thing is, that is Tim Pool. Like if you told Tim Pool that the right says 2 + 2 = 4, and the left says 2 + 2 = 6, Tim would say 2 + 2 must equal 5.
Well, what I mean is, it's not good. He's not in good faith at all when it comes to let's see both sides of the spectrum. No.
Oh no, he's not in good faith. But that's not in good faith. But he's portrayed himself as that kind of person.
Yeah. He will literally go on one side that looks good, but when the actual information comes out, he will jump to the other side of the fence and act like he was on that side the entire time.
Unless it's a
Which is
woman.
fucking weird.
Unless it's a woman that he's probably been fucking. In which case, he'll double down on the woman regardless of the information.
Or stay quiet. But let's go ahead and continue because he's not wrong about the problems, but they truly don't want to actually have a solution because the solution is going to not work in their favor.
Now, here's the last line there is what's interesting. Suddenly, working for gender equality means focusing on boys rather than girls. That's not incorrect. That's quite reasonable.
Yeah. And that's why they're making a big deal probably in the first place.
Yeah, no, like that's like they're gonna object to that in a second, right away. Like that. Okay. That's where they're gonna disagree. Like, I'm pretty sure.
Go ahead and play this bad boy.
Quote, it's like the needles on a magnetic compass reversing their polarity. Reeves writes, suddenly working for gender equality means focusing on boys rather than girls. That's what we will call the nut graph in this review. Jaleesa, I would love to hear your thoughts on this article and the subject matter that the book takes on. What do you think of that passage?
I think that it really illustrates the way that Americans think about many of the problems that plague our country, like always trying to find a scapegoat instead of.
I don't know where you're going with it.
I'm going to be breaking. I remember this, so I'm sorry. I'm going to ask to break this bitch's shit down sentence by sentence.
All right.
So first off, what's her opinion on the article? Well, it's indicative of how Americans approach things. She's going to say, she's saying right now that this article is trying to find a scapegoat. Where in any of that passage right there was anyone blamed?
None.
There is no scapegoat. A scapegoat is when someone is blamed for it. Her saying that they're trying to find that passage is indicative of Americans trying to find a scapegoat. This right here shows she knows.
Yeah, that's an omission of guilt.
She knows that this is women's fault.
Yep, omission of guilt. She knows.
Right off the bat, she's trying to get ahead of it and say, "Well, you can't be blaming women for this." Oh, who was blaming women for this? We were just saying that men are having trouble.
Yep, a person that immediately goes on the defensive. Very sus.
Yeah, she knows right away. This is the fault of her and her ilk. They are the ones to blame for this because this is exactly what they wanted.
Agreed. I think this is the one that I did not like the most last night. And then I want to hear what she has to say again.
Yeah.
Of trying to find real solutions for very real problems. Like all of the things that you mentioned are real problems. Mass incarceration is a problem. The fact that, more men are dying by suicide than any other time in history is a problem.
False, but okay. Like, I don't know what you meant by in terms of suicide or in general.
Might be the highest recorded suicide rates among men.
Okay.
I don't think it's men are dying faster than it all in general. I think it's men are dying of suicide more than any time in history.
All right. She didn't specify, so I'm like, all right, what do you mean by that? Okay. Let's continue.
The fact that, men or boys are dropping out of high school and dropping out of college at really high alarming rates is a problem. Like all of those things are real problems, but the source of that problem is not the success that women are having.
Boom!
Immediately.
Right
okay. Ma'am,
there.
I called it. I called it.
Immediately. In that article, did it blame women or the success of women?
Not once. Now, where's this coming from, huh?
That article was very specific. Like the closest it got was shit. Now it's time to focus Now gender equality requires focusing on boys instead of girls. That is the only time that women were even mentioned in that entire paragraph, was that, hey, boys are struggling. We need to focus on them now because they're the ones lagging behind women. And she immediately goes, well, it's not because of the success of women that this is happening. Oh, who said that? Who said that? The article didn't say that. What makes you think that someone... What makes you think the article is attacking that? No. It's because that is exactly why. And you know that's why.
Every problem that was listed, you can trace it back to women.
You can trace it back to women being empowered and pushing men out of their established positions and institutions, and not for like any sort of objective good, just for the sake of doing it.
Agreed. Just because it's easier, right? They don't have to fulfill their end of the obligation when they kick the father out of the household and replace the father with the government.
Yeah, mass incarcerations amongst Black people. Direct correlation to the father being removed from the household by women. And those women were given power to it. It was the success of the women. Yeah,
Agreed.
no, precisely. Someone trying to be fair and balanced. Not even trying to be fair and balanced. Someone trying to be as inoffensive as possible. And you immediately interpret them even posing the problem as intact. But that's the thing. Because she heard support for men and immediately was like, shit. They're going to take away all the power that women have to abuse men.
Yep. That's why she immediately went to, it's not because of the success of women.
We don't need to limit the success of women. We don't need to take away these female privileges. These are problems, but the solution is not to take away women's power. You're the one who suggested that.
Yeah. Nobody said that.
Well,
so what's going,
Yeah, she knows. She knows.
Yeah. Bro, if this was like, if me or you were on that panel, God forbid, but if we hypothetically, if you were, I would have grilled the fuck out of her. Oh, it would have been game over.
Yeah, and then she cried, you'd get kicked.
Yeah, the live stream only lasts like 7 minutes.
It'd basically be introductions, first panelist goes, and then you're either going to get kicked or muted for actually grilling them. That's why they don't fucking come on. That's why they don't fucking call in. Because it's basically like, again, it's like a fucking pampered princess wandering into a bloody battlefield, and guys go like, hey, you want to try? Because he's covered in fucking gore. Like, I just tore through 3 other bastards. You want to try me? She's like,
oh God, you can't do that to me. I'm a princess.
Ain't no gender positions on the battlefield. There is ally and enemy.
Yeah, so it's this lady. I agree. I forgot who said that one comment. Oh yeah, Savannah. The equality is oppression when it comes to people who are used to privilege. So that's why she immediately went on the defensive. Let's go ahead and continue.
Because that's the thing. Like, she realizes women are the ones in power, and if equality when men were in power meant that men had to be disempowered and women uplifted, then equality with women in power means that women have to be disempowered and men uplifted.
Yep. It's all about control superiority when it comes to feminism, chat. So let's go ahead and continue.
The source of that problem is not little girls, and the solutions to those problems are not going to be found in women achieving less, right? So
nobody's okay. Yep.
Nobody said that.
Literally nobody said that.
No one said that women have to achieve less for men to succeed. That was never anywhere in that statement. It was just that boys have to be focused on now rather than girls. They didn't say we have to punish the girls or disenfranchise the girls or take or destroy what the girls have. No, it just said now we need to focus on the boys.
Yeah, tell us how you really feel.
But that's the thing,
Please.
because she was probably the one who said, now we need to focus on girls. And when she said we need to focus on girls, what she meant was find little boys defective and strip away the success of men. She fears right now that what she advocated for, what she pushed for against boys and men, will now be turned on girls and women.
Yep, in her own little head, because she feels so threatened, just like what Super Turbo Jet Shark said. This one sees men succeeding as a personal threat and insult. Yeah.
But that's the thing. To her, it is. She sells books on female empowerment. Like men succeeding, this little fucking fairy tale world that the government and feminists have created, collapsing, and that is the end of her career. That is the end of her prestige. Like this is an active and present threat to her continued existence.
Agreed.
Like this is like it's the equivalent of the cigarette dealer finding when the information that hey, cigarettes cause cancer is getting it.
No, it doesn't. What are you talking about? It's just an urban myth. Let's continue.
But like when I hear the biggest the people that it's affecting the most is Black men, it so reminds me of when conservatives talk about immigration, right? And they say Black Americans are the ones hardest hit by illegal aliens taking their jobs. And it's like, no, actually,
I haven't heard. Have you ever heard a conservative say? I had not heard a conservative use that excuse.
No.
Probably her racist family member. I don't know, but
yeah, that's the thing. Like what again? Now, what qualifies as a conservative to her? Because keep in mind, Donald Trump, who basically holds the position of a moderate Democrat, is considered a hardcore conservative.
Yes. He actually helped out the alphabet community.
Yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised if like this is something that Bill Clinton said when he was trying to get the Black vote.
It has to be, because I'm like, I have not heard George Bush. I haven't heard Donald Trump. I haven't heard no governors, no senators saying that. Not once.
Right. Now, like, that's the thing. Like, I'm a white motherfucker, so I am less likely to hear about politicians trying to appeal to the black people to begin with. But
they will blame the white males before they even blame any type of immigrant.
Yeah, like some of them might say, immigration, like, is it taking jobs? Well, yes, to a certain point, but really what it's also doing is increasing the, I know I'm probably getting way too nuanced for someone like her to process, but in the supply and demand market of labor, it is flooding the market with additional supply of labor while the demand remains essentially consistent, which means the price of labor goes down. So it's not even so much that a job can't be found, but there's so many people willing to take the job for cheap that a job that actually allows for a half decent wage is gone.
Personally, I think she's just making up a scenario that'll fit her narrative. Like, she's just trying to fix something.
Yeah, she took Black men and now has made this about conservatives bitching about immigration.
I'm like, what?
So far her summary is that this is not the fault of women. This is not the fault of girls. this is not the fault of immigration.
It's the fault of
No, she
conserv-
has. No, that's the thing. What she's doing is she's blaming conservatives and Americans for finding someone else to blame for the issue rather than tackling the root cause, which key projection, because what do women do every time they run into a problem?
find the nearest excuse, try to avoid accountability.
Find the nearest scapegoat. It's patriarchy. Yes. It's a man. It is not my fault things are the way they are. It is someone else's fault. Now someone else find a solution.
Well, first excuses, then scapegoat. Because they go to the scapegoat when the walls are starting to close in on them.
Yeah,
but they'll start with excuses first.
Yeah, that's the thing. She is attacking Americans and conservatives for by saying that they do the same thing that she likely has made a living off of.
Agreed. I see you post this everywhere, bro. You're not wrong, but I see you post this everywhere. Keep posting it. All right.
Let's see how much more verbal diarrhea she has.
Yep.
Undocumented people are not to blame for white people losing their jobs, right? And so I think that my biggest takeaway with this article is just that we are trying to find a scapegoat and trying to find solutions where there are none to be found.
Okay, so straight up, that tells you right there, if that's her takeaway from the article, she did not read or hear a single sentence in it, aside from the key liberal buzzwords. But she did not actually parse the information.
She only heard the last sentence. That's it. Just
if I said to her, the rise of single motherhood has coincided with mass incarcerations, particularly in the Black community, she would say, well, immigrants aren't responsible for Black people not having jobs.
Yeah. The argument goes nowhere, but I see what you're talking about.
Yeah, but that's the thing. She heard the couple key buzzwords, then pulled her talking points related to those buzzwords. Again, literally, it's a bad chatbot.
Right. Where
I've gotten more accurate results by setting my AI to just think something up mode, and then seeing what images it spews out based on random prompts.
Yeah, she's just trying to lead the conversation to nowhere, and or away from accountability on women as far as possible.
Yeah, she just wants. Yeah, women aren't to blame. Immigrants aren't to blame. Oh, I wonder if she is an immigrant and a woman. So essentially, she's saying it's not my fault. Don't reduce my power. But yes, these are problems, and we really should find solutions. But blaming me will not give solutions.
Even though it is my fault. Don't blame me.
Don't blame me. Don't make me a scapegoat. Don't blame me for it. You need to go find an actual solution, and it needs to be somewhere that I'm not involved with.
Pretty much. Let's continue because it's going to get more hilarious.
Mm-hmm. Dana, what do you have to add?
I completely agree. I think the problem isn't that there is some big problem happening with men, but I think the problem is the perceived problem. I do think it's a true reality that men are framing themselves, a lot of men, particularly young men online, figuring out ways that they are victims and they feel wrong.
So the problem isn't that there's a problem, it's that men think there's a problem.
The gaslighting is insane. Chat. Chad, imagine dealing with a woman like that every day, talking about there isn't a problem. You just perceive it's a problem. Even
Yeah.
though your life is fucking ruined because of,
Like, there's no reason for you to be upset. You're looking for reasons to be upset. And that's the real problem here is that you are looking for reasons to make yourself upset. But there's no actual reason for you to be upset.
Chat, this is gaslighting 101. Okay. To make you seem like the crazy one. Women do this all the time. Yeah, you already know.
Yeah. But again, women 101. Women look for a reason to be upset. Like, I see it. Like, it is joked about with women that I know that other
Right.
women literally look for someone else to worry about.
Yeah, they look for problems that aren't even there.
Yeah. And so then you hear like, oh, don't do this because X will worry about you. It's like, okay, good. Because if they're worrying about me, then at least they have a focus. If there's absolutely nothing wrong with my life, then they're going to go look for someone else to be upset about.
So once again, this is projection as well.
Yeah.
You perceive this a problem. Okay. Okay.
And that's the thing. And that's why she says like, well, no, there's no problem with men. It's like, well, okay, well, what if I said there's no problem with women? Women are just looking for reasons to be upset.
Hey, Gray, don't take down my stream, bro. Well, what you talking about, man? You talking crazy. You're talking crazy right now.
You know what? But you know what? Maybe what we need is a certain purple-skinned female to say this.
Oh God. Anyway, the bookshelf in the back is kind of irritating the fuck out of me. Not gonna lie.
Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry, but you do not read books if you have your bookshelf coordinated by cover color.
Agreed. This is once again some sheeple liberal fucking crazy bullshit. Because no,
like I look over at my bookshelves, and they are organized by category. Like I've got my photography books on one section, my drawing books on another one, my reference things on another one, my sketchbooks on another one, my RPG rule books in a separate drawer. Like they're organized by category. Hers are organized by color.
yeah, so damn well she ain't reading those books because I know a few readers, got a big ass fucking bookshelf. You'll know somebody's reading it because you'll find random books at random places. Like, why is the book here? Why is it there? Why is it open? Why does it have bookmarks or sticky notes? You know that person's reading. I can tell that this woman has not touched a single fucking book.
Yeah, like I'm willing to bet she spends more time going to chapters or whatever and picking out a book probably in the same section, because I don't see a wide variety of topics there. They're all probably like the fucking self-help / lifestyle books. So they might be sorted by category because she only buys one category of book. And then she just goes through and tries to figure out which cover will look good on her shelf. Because I don't see a single book up there. But I mean, like, okay, she's got like some binders and like shit at the very bottom. But again, like it's all organized. She probably looks at that shelf and thinks, I need to find more books with a yellow cover.
Pretty much. Like, I'll be surprised if she knows who Karl Marx is.
Oh, no. She probably knows who Karl Marx is. She probably doesn't know that much about Karl Marx.
Yeah,
but
you only know
but
Karl Marx by name.
Yeah. Now, admittedly, for all we know, one of those books could be the Communist Manifesto. Maybe. I mean, I'm willing to bet that she's more likely got the Communist Manifesto up there than Atlas Shrugged.
Well, August Lyon, that is more believable. They're all books on astrology. That I can believe. But even then, I don't think she read it.
No, like that is like she bought a book just to like have it up on the shelf and maybe show it off, but no one who
Like-
reads books at all frequently has them organized by fucking color on the shelf.
The bookshelf on the left is slightly more believable, but I will assume those are college books. I will assume.
Well,
But
that's
let's
the thing. Like she clearly, like the one on the left, that's clearly not meant to be in frame because the plant's hanging down in front of it. The one on the right is meant to be her showcase book.
Her virtue signaling books.
Yeah, because it's also arranged like a rainbow.
Yeah.
And then there's even some of those fucking pink things up there. Like let's be honest, it's a fucking it's a rainbow LGBTQ flag bookshelf.
They're trying too hard. That's all I gotta say. Let's
Well, they have to-
continue.
They have to try to. They have to try hard. They're insincere. They don't know what
Yeah.
natural appreciation for that kind of stuff would look like.
Yeah, it's understandable, but let's continue.
Wronged by like this culture war that's happening. And I think that we can get in this like recursive argument about like,
Okay, no,
You know,
sorry, but that's
I didn't hear anything. Hold up.
yeah. We got to go back a little bit and rehear because this is what Hammerhand pointed out. She says in one breath that it's men imagining that there's a problem,
Yeah.
but then acknowledges that there is currently a culture war going on.
Yeah. Let me listen to that one more time.
there is some big problem happening with men, but I think the problem is the perceived problem. Like, I do think it's a true reality that men are framing themselves, a lot of men, particularly young men online, figuring out like ways that they are victims and they feel wronged by like this culture war that's happening.
Damn. She contradicted herself at the speed of light. They perceive it's a problem in this culture war, but it's all in their head. It's all in their head.
The problem is that they perceive that there's a problem. Like it's like there's either like, okay, like if the culture war is going on again, between whom and whom?
Oh, they don't want to admit that.
And even then, like, where in that article was the culture war mentioned?
None, except for the last sentence that they perceived.
And that's the thing. And it's not. But it's the thing. Like, even again in that article, where is it mentioned that boys and men are feeling this kind of stuff? It's like, no, this is statistically verifiable data. Like, it is not like men aren't making up these statistics. They're not feeling these statistics into existence. There are more incarcerations. There's more suicide. Are you saying that all these things are happening because men feel bad? And that if men just stopped feeling bad, then these problems would disappear?
Well, you perceive that you're in prison. Okay. You're not actually in prison. You're just thinking that. It's in your head. Okay. I don't know what you're talking about. This is what she means when it comes to men consistently try to find ways to victimize themselves. They're not in maximum security prison. That's how stupid she sounds.
Like, they're not. Again, she's basically saying, men, you're dropping out of school because you feel oppressed in school. You're not oppressed, really. You just feel it in school. And the problem is that you feel it. So you should stop feeling it and then you'll be okay.
Pretty much. Be mindless robots, just be there to give us money and your seed. That's it. But let's continue.
And I think that we can get in this like recursive argument about like, are men as a whole suffering changes, cultural changes that are costing them something, or are they just like looking for reasons to justify X or Y behavior? And I feel like it's
What behavior?
You literally just admitted that there is a culture war, and then you turn around and say that we're just perceiving that there's a culture war.
Yeah,
mean-
that men just imagine the culture war to justify X or Y behavior. Again, what's X or Y behavior? What kind of behavior are men trying to justify by citing, the problems that are statistically proven to exist?
Man, it's I have to rewind. Never mind.
What behavior was mentioned in the article?
Nothing.
Nothing. It's pointing out the very real problems that it shows men are, and she's like, well, men are just trying to justify their behavior by imagining that there's problems.
Did I say? I don't think I said they will make any type of logical sense, but okay.
No, that's the thing. We're not
I didn't say
expecting
that.
a logical and coherent argument. We are taking their verbal diarrhea and putting it through a sieve to dissect it.
If this was actually a logical a panel for logical women, there wouldn't be a live stream right now. So, best believe we're just doing our best to try to understand womanese, which
we are essentially taking. God, what? I think the closest I can imagine is Low Gothic from 40K, which is, well, not even Low Gothic. We're basically translating another species, an alien species that learned how to mimic human words and is trying to convince them that, yeah, we're totally the same. Here, listen to our thought out arguments. And it's like, you not only do you not sound correct, you don't even sound coherent. You're throwing out a whole bunch of words, but again, literally chatbots make more sense.
pretty much. But let's go ahead and listen to her buffoonery.
Get in this like recursive argument about like, are men as a whole suffering cultural changes that are costing them something, or are they just like looking for reasons to justify X or Y behavior? And I feel like it's probably the latter. Like, I don't know. I don't like anything that divides us up in those like arbitrary things. Like, men are people, women are people, everyone is individuals doing these things. And these like culture war headlines just give fodder to people on the right.
No, they're not. Like, guess what? Men and women are not the same, nor are they treated the same. There are no male-only grants. There are no male-only college courses. Shit. You're not even allowed to have a male-only gym without some kind of harassment. Like, if men and women are the same, then why do women get preferential treatment? It's only when women stand to benefit that men and women are different. When women don't stand to benefit, we're all just individuals. We're all just people. There's no need to divide us up. I hate what divides us up. Okay, then get rid of female exclusive college grants. No more scholarships, like no more female only scholarships.
Yep. No more female only gyms. No more female only anything. Get rid of it.
No more female quotas. No more requirements to have women in your workplace, on the board, employed, etc. Like, take away all of that.
Affirmative action gone.
Gone. Yeah, like if we're all, because guess what, lady, you don't hate affirmative action. Therefore, you don't hate shit that divides people up. You love it when it benefits you.
Agreed. That's why she's no different than that one Hispanic chick talking about, oh, what do you mean? It's not because of women's success. Like, nobody's saying that but you, but okay. So she's just saying the same thing. This lady right here, she's just saying the same thing, but differently. So talking about, oh, we don't need to divide, even though she literally just said there's a culture war.
Yeah, but here's the other thing. Like, this is the crazy thing. What she's really trying to do is prevent the status quo from changing. Because if what she said actually went forward and everyone was like, you know what, you're right. Men and women, they're both individuals. They're equal. Let's stop dividing them up and get rid of affirmative action. Men would immediately start succeeding again.
Oh, Excel. We will be going to the fucking moon right now.
Like, the only reason that women have any success is because it's a race and the women are given jet thrusters on their back, whereas the men are bound in chains. And even then, the men are still somehow managing to make it a decent race.
Yep. And modern women, they expect equity plus more. So it's literally, it's similar to going to boot camp. So let's say we have to go through an obstacle course, but modern women, they're able to just go on a NASCAR, racing car, and then go from the beginning to the end of the course. While the men literally have to run with a 40-pound, full battle rattle helmet, armor, weapon, rucksack, carrying almost 100 pounds, happen to go through the obstacle course. But modern women, they're able to just drift all the way with a race car. So they're able to complete the course in like 10 seconds.
It's like, here's the obstacle course. Ladies, you must wear your military fatigues and your combat boots. Walk on a well-worn path through the woods and get to the other side. Men, you're going to have to get across no man's land, and we're using live rounds.
I'll be pissed. But that's literally how society is working at the moment.
And guess what? And even then, you still get a ton of women lost in the fucking woods. And they're complaining that their boots aren't comfortable enough and the military fatigues are too itchy. And there's bugs and they're dirty. And their feet hurt because the trail's too long.
The trail is only 50 meters. The end is right there. Look at that big ass flag.
She's like,
just walk over there.
Yeah, but she's breathing really heavy because she's 350 fucking pounds, and this is the most exercise she's ever gotten. You need to allow her to drive her portable scooter along the trail. It's not fair.
Oh, that's too fucking hilarious. And that is true. Literally, they always want to preach about, equality and women need more rights and blah blah blah. When there's any type of inconvenience in their life, it's not even having it tough anymore. It's if there's something, you know about that OG video of the woman on the news complaining about ACs being sexist.
Yep. It's like, bitch, put on a sweater.
I'm like, that's how easy your life is. But as soon as this person, Reeves, just say, hey, you know what? Maybe we need to focus on the boys in order to improve their overall well-being.
Yeah. Like, well, not even to improve their well-being. Gender equality. Women are succeeding now. Men are flagging. We need to now look at improving boys' lives because they're the ones falling behind. And immediately, all of them are coming out with excuses that basically boil down to, don't take away my special powers.
Oh, shit. They're like, slow down, buckaroo. You going a little bit fast there. Talking about helping boys become more equal to girls. Like, how dare you? Okay? This isn't our fault, okay? Women succeeding is not our fault. Yeah, we have affirmative action, and we have way more benefits than men in today's society, but it's not our fault.
Yeah, it's not our fault that men are suffering. It's not our fault that men are offing themselves. It's not our fault that society is going down the shitter. It's not our fault. We're the ones with power in here, but it's not our fault.
There's a culture war, but They're just perceiving this culture war. Okay, I acknowledge a culture war exists, but these men, they're just trying to be victims of this culture war. Like, what?
Yeah.
It's
Well,
just crazy.
that's the only way that you can square that circle is that men are winning the cult. Is that for them to say that men are winning the culture war? They just pretend that they're losing. Which, you know what? That's exactly what women do. Because right now they have more power than anyone else on the planet. Like aside from maybe like any group separated by gender, like women have the most power on the planet,
Especially white women. Let's keep it real.
especially white women. Yes.
Yeah, they have, in my opinion, they're the most privileged group in history. In my opinion, right now, they're the most privileged group in history. No
Well,
other group.
well. There's probably a
What?
more privileged one, but we can't say it on YouTube or your channel disappears. That's how
Yeah.
privileged they are.
They're on par. If I don't know if you talk about the alphabet community or not.
No.
Oh, you talk about another one?
Yeah, the
Oh.
other ones.
Okay, I'm dead. Yeah.
Yeah,
not
those
so much.
ones.
Okay, but still, the fact that just complaining once, women in general, they will get what they want. All they have to do is go online, like, when I didn't get my $20 pay raise from work, sexist, misogyny, bigotry.
Yeah, like what man can call up a woman, say, "Hey, I'm $40 short on my light bill, but I'm sure it'll work out," and reasonably expect that the guy on the other end is going to give her $40?
Yeah, no man can do. Not
Yeah.
even celebrities can do that.
Like there might be some highly specialized men who know how to game women, because like I've heard the occasional story of a man who manages to fleece a woman out of a shit ton of money. But those guys are fucking rare. Meanwhile, you have women bragging that they don't pay for food anymore. They just keep going on dates and save a shit ton of money by having guys pay for all their meals at restaurants.
But if that guy gets caught, he goes to jail. Yep, he goes to jail for finessing. Yep, that happens. Women do it all the time. Nothing happens. A man does it, jail. I'll bring up articles tomorrow for a short video. Just to prove my point, chat. You will literally go to jail if women feel that they got finessed. That's there's no culture war. You're just perceiving it. It's all in your head.
Hey, where have all the good men gone? Why won't guys take me out to date anymore? Like, well, because they're very realistically afraid that you're going to send them to jail for giving you a lesser quality date than you expected.
What was that trending story a few months ago? Women are literally taxing men for a bad date.
Yep.
Taxing men for a bad date.
Like
Chat.
literally sending like, hey, the date sucked. Give me money.
Not just a little bit of money, thousands.
Give me a couple $1,000 for wasting my time.
But chat, remember, it's all in your head. You're just perceiving that. Okay. I don't know what you're talking about. You're just finding ways to be a victim.
Now,
That's
admittedly, any man who would actually pay that kind of deserves to, like, not only does he deserve to lose the money, he kind of deserves to meet a whole bunch of other guys in a parking lot with no security cameras.
Worse, I hope he gets married and then divorced and lose everything.
Well, if you give a whole
Well,
bunch
he's
of
gonna
if you
do
give,
it anyway.
like, let's be honest, if you give several $1,000s to a woman that didn't have sex with you and hates you, you're already basically married.
True, but I'm talking about on a lease, not just a one-time payment.
You think that Okay, if the dude fucking handed over several $1,000s for one bad date, pretty sure that he's gonna go for
Oh,
round two.
Yeah, I'm gonna encourage him to put a ring on it. Hey, go for it, man. Go ahead, buy a ring. You know, I'm sure she's the one for you.
Well, let's be honest. If he hands over that much, then he's definitely the one for her, and she's the one for him, and that guy, 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 and that guy.
But in all seriousness, don't get married. All right, I'm just fucking around. If you choose to get married, that's on you. But I'm not gonna encourage somebody to get married. That's kind of evil, in my opinion. We will continue this atrocity.
I go back to traditional values, like this headline for whatever new. I go back to traditional things and these like X or Y behavior, and I feel like it's probably the latter. Like I don't know. I don't like anything that divides us up in those like arbitrary things. Like men are people, women are people, everyone is individuals doing these things. And these like culture war headlines just give fodder to people on the right who are like, go back to traditional values. Like this headline for whatever nuance the book has, and particularly for men of color, these communities of color that are struggling, the consequence of this is that racist white supremacist people are going to read this headline and feel emboldened by their culture war bullshit.
Alyssa,
This is not okay, lady.
What?
This is not an article with a headline. This is a review of a book.
Hold up, let me one more time before, so just to make sure I didn't misunderstand her, because I'm gonna go on my mini rant about this shit. Just one more time, chat. Sorry.
Things like men are people, women are people, everyone is individuals doing these things. And these like culture war headlines just give fodder to people on the right who are like, go back to traditional values. Like this headline for whatever nuance the book has, and particularly for men of color, these communities of color that are struggling, the consequence of this is that racist white supremacist people are going to read this headline and feel emboldened by their culture war bullshit.
Alyssa,
Okay, so what does the white supremacist thing has nothing to do with the goddamn okay.
Yeah, this is about boys and their current struggles and the struggles of black communities due to the very obvious high incarceration rates.
And she clearly doesn't hang around black people or know any black people, especially the ones that came from poverty, because guess what the black community is in general? A matriarchy. Okay? The black community is one of the first that got taken over by feminism. We were one of the first group of people that were kicking fathers out of the household back in the 1960s. That's when it all began, all the way up until now. So when they say, hey, go back to traditionalism, I guarantee you both black people and white supremacists will both agree. You know what? That's a great idea. Let's go back to traditionalism.
Yeah, we want the it's like, it was like white people and black people. Again, right here, like you and me, like Ghost and Skeleton, we both agree fathers should be back in the home and be the dominant one in the household.
Agreed. 1,000,000%.
And that's not for us specifically. We'd still want this, even if we were not included. That if it's like, okay, you know what? Patriarchy comes back, but you guys can never be fathers. You can never have your household, never have children, never own them. But that's the price you pay for patriarchy being back. It's like, you know what? Whatever. That sucks, but kind of worth it. That's a small price to pay compared to the millions of lives that are probably going to have to be exchanged otherwise.
Agreed. And what just annoys me the most, for people that wants to speak for the people of color, they have no idea what the fuck they're talking about whatsoever. Because once again, this going back to traditionalism will do wonders for the black community. Because who has the highest single mother rate out of all races? Black women. Which race of men are the most fatherless? black men. So everything is out of fucking whack right now. Only Pookie and Ray Ray and Tyrone is getting majority of the black girls. And guess what? It's so bad that the black women will much rather marry felons and murderers than to go get a good average black man. So yes, bring back traditionalism.
You know, and then like you can like verify or refute this, but another part of the problem is the Section 8 housing complexes where so many of these poor single mothers live. They end up being handed down generationally. But all the bastards of these single mothers come from the same handful of drug dealers that supplied that particular house. So it's not just Pookie and Ray Ray getting it on. You're getting incest with the children of Pookie and Ray Ray. Fucking half sisters and half brothers getting it on.
Yeah, it gets pretty raunchy. It gets pretty disgusting. It really does. And not too many, and we all know that, you know, that type of disgusting behavior is with anybody, but it's particularly bad in the ghettos with black people. All right. Not too many movies are willing to talk about it. There's only a couple movies that are able to talk about the disgusting monstrosity that especially black women will put their family through when it comes to that type of shit, incest and stuff.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, they don't even necessarily know that they're half brother and sister. They're just a man and a woman whose parents both were in the same Section 8 housing complex, and they don't fucking leave, so they're neighbors, so they get it on.
Yeah, that's the worst thing of all, right? Because since the same men, right, like we explained before, Pookie, Ray Ray, Tyrone are getting it on with, I think it was close to 70% of the single mothers that are out there. Yes, way higher chance of a person getting it on with a half brother or sister. Actually, there was a recent video of a person saying that they were married to each other for 11 years. Comes to find out that they're brother and sister in the black community. Yeah. That's how out of control it gets. But hey, it's all in your head. You're just perceiving this.
Yeah. Okay. And then on the subject of how like this is basically the collection of the most fucking pale women, like
how the fuck are you gonna talk about people of color?
Yeah.
Just
No,
say
and
black.
that's the one fucking, I don't know whether she's Asian or Latina, but the one in the fucking faux leopard print, she is using fluorescent lighting, blue lighting, to make her appear even more pale. Like, you can tell because her fucking shirt that is supposed to be orange is so washed out, it's basically gray. The white balance on that is so atrocious that the one who should be the darkest skin of the bunch looks the palest. Yeah,
that's that colorism kicking in. But that's a different conversation.
Yeah. Just thought it was an interesting note how the POC is doing her damnedest to look like a white woman.
But hey, she knows all about the people of color, right? Let's go ahead and continue this ridiculousness.
What were your initial thoughts?
So I really went into this article with a perspective like of what I.
Before we continue, I'm sorry. Like it's hilarious. I saw it on Hammerhand stream. A lot of people are saying this is a female version of Rollo Tomasi. Like you can't unsee it. You just can't. So
right. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm gonna have to make you guys see that too. All right, let's continue.
I thought it was going to be, and actually I found it really fucking interesting. I think that a couple things. One, I feel like overall when they talk about what's happening, specifically to men, specifically white men in a lot of this, it's like, yeah, guess what, man? Women are thriving because they've had to be resilient because nobody read articles about why we might not be thriving for the last 100 years. And
really,
you were not resilient. Things were given to you, handed to you on a silver platter. Resilient my ass.
Yeah,
What'd you
right,
say,
and
Greg?
it passed 100 years. Like, I'm sorry, did women just start publicly complaining this year? Like,
Well,
when the fuck have women not been complaining about how oppressed they are? You literally go back 100 years, you have the fucking flapper movement.
when was the founder? I think it was in the late 19th century, 1870, 1880, when feminism started to get popular.
Yeah, like you had feminists literally committing arson, which resulted in the death of men and horses.
Yep.
So what
And
the fuck is this? Like women having to like no one was reading articles. Bitch, just because you haven't read a fucking article that wasn't on your Facebook feed does not mean that those articles don't exist.
Yep. And a shit ton of feminists were behind the prohibition movement.
Like
They
women
literally
have
go
been
inside of the bars and they destroy the entire bar. They walk in with an axe and they just start swinging.
Yeah, like women have been complaining. Yes, a fucking century. Like when the fuck was the printing press invented? As soon as newspapers were a thing, as soon as magazines were a thing. Like, no, it's not like women were fucking suffering in silence and being super resilient and tough. No, you've always been bitching. You've always been complaining, and men consistently just hand you the latest shit. And then once you have nothing, and once the thing that you were complaining about has been solved, you then go and you find something else to complain about.
You ain't wrong. You ain't wrong. And now they're suffering the consequences, which I believe is very light consequences, where women can't even define themselves anymore. What is a woman? What is a woman? Because they literally bitch and moan themselves into fucking oblivion. They cancel themselves.
Yeah. Like now, it's funny, like Salty's latest video is literally a biological male who looks kind of female, but apparently doesn't even identify as a woman, lecturing women on how they are more of a woman than a biological woman. You are
And
being
now-
lectured by a dude with long rainbow hair on how to be a woman. Congratulations, you played yourselves.
And now there's people on social media, part of the alphabet community, aka trans, pretending to have periods. Trans women pretending to have periods.
Pretending to have period cramps and like moaning and clutching their abdomen and complaining. Like, dude, I've had a long-term girlfriend who apparently had fucking horrendous ass fucking periods, like apocalyptic level shit. Yeah, she didn't fucking wander around for half the day fucking doing that.
At this point, I truly believe now there's like men going out there saying that they're a woman just to mock women. Like, like, oh, look at me, I'm a woman, I have a period.
I mean, I'd be tempted to, but you know, I kind of have enough shit going on in my life.
It's so hilarious that at this point it's funny that we have to quote unquote mansplain this panel for everybody to understand. Like I don't know, man.
Because we know that no woman watching this is going to be able to give the kind of breakdown that you or me or Hammer are going to be able to do. Like, we're taking this and breaking it down, whereas a woman, like, all they do is hear the buzzwords, feel a bunch of things, and then if you ask them to pick out a single point from it, they wouldn't be able to.
They'd just be like, can you tell me? Or I don't know.
Like, I honestly wonder, like, I'm sure that they could in the past, but do modern women even know the plots of shows beyond beyond the characters. Like,
No, only the intense moments, in my opinion, like the very emotional, very dramatic moments. That's it.
like
They don't care about the plot. They don't care about in-depth personalities and stuff.
I think they might be able to give me like a chart of how each character is related. Like, this person's fucking her, but he loves her and she loves him, and be able to make like the fucking flow chart of that, probably like a relationship network chart. But I'm pretty sure that they couldn't tell me what the hell the plot is.
All I'm saying is I have not yet seen a female iceberg. What I mean by that, I have not seen a complete, full, and utter breakdown of a show, a movie, a book on YouTube. I didn't look. Like, I looked today, but I guarantee you there's only like 1 or 2 women that actually attempted to do an iceberg. Because they don't really care besides the emotional, romantic, dramatic moments, right? Pretty much only the climax, and then they're done.
Like, that's the thing. Like the most emotionally involving parts of an experience.
Pretty much. But let's continue before I lose the plot of what this horrible woman is trying to say. Here, I'll rewind a little bit.
Guess what, man? Women are thriving because they've had to be resilient because nobody read articles about why we might not be thriving for the last 100 years and taking interest in it. Like, the one thing I found,
Okay, sorry. Next
conflicted
question.
About.
Just sorry. When in all of history were women not thriving?
Good question. I can't find the time.
Maybe no one cared about articles of, like, no one read articles about women complaining that they're not thriving, because women have never not been thriving. The only time I can think of, like in even recent history, that women weren't thriving was China's one-child policy. And guess what? There were a shit ton of articles being written about that. And they were read.
Countless. Endless. I was hearing that like throughout my childhood. I've been hearing about the one-child policy.
Yeah. So you're full of shit, lady. Like, within your lifetime alone, like, if women ever faced any sort of hardship or even just not receiving preferential treatment, it was known about and it was talked about.
Right. And even then, women get how you say? I can't even say the word right now. They get good treatment in war. More likely than not, they're not the ones that are getting their heads cut off, or a bullet through the chest or the head. Throughout history, don't hurt the women and children. Okay, they're going to be our spoils. Everybody else kill them. Oh, and kill the oldest son as well.
Yeah,
actually no, kill all the sons that are of age.
Yeah, the other ones can either be molded or used for extra entertainment.
Look, Mr. Pliskin knows. Yeah, I can't even say the word right now.
Yeah, preferential, yeah.
Yeah, preferential. Okay, there we go. I can't even fucking talk today. But you guys see what I'm talking about. Even in the worst of times, such as war, women get
special treatment.
Yeah, special treatment. Preferential. Yeah. I'll work on that word tonight. But let's go ahead and continue.
Is that I was so interested in what the article had to say, and I was like, no man would have read this article about women 40 years ago and been like, well, this is very interesting. I should learn more.
Yeah.
Majority of these articles were for men 40 years ago. So
Well,
I don't know where
that's
you're
the
getting
thing.
this from.
40 years ago was 1982.
Right.
Let me see.
So they were definitely talked about. Men definitely read and wrote articles on. Oh,
Okay,
let's
yeah, no, one child policy, 1980.
yeah, right there. Who's the author?
I really just looked up when did the one child policy
Oh.
start in China? Started in 1980.
Oh, okay.
So,
Yeah, I do.
I fucking guarantee you 40 years ago, the one child policy came about and men were fucking horrified at the idea of selectively killing off women in the womb.
Yeah. You think women are only affected? You really think that men just didn't give a fuck? Of course we give a fuck.
Men give a fuck about the survival and thriving of their daughters because guess what? Men actually care about their daughters. I know for a woman, it might seem fucking crazy that someone can empathize and care for another human being that doesn't share their biology. But it is true. Men can give a shit about women and do because that's why they sent their fucking daughters to college. You think if men weren't concerned about this long-term success of women, that so many of them would be like, well, I want my daughter to have a good future, so I'm going to send her to post-secondary.
I agree. And just in a biological sense, men are quantity, women are quality. Okay, men are trying to spread their seed far and wide, and at the moment, things aren't looking good raising a daughter. But whatever, a child is a fucking child. Okay, men. I guarantee you, if men can afford it, they will have 10, 20, 30, 40 fucking kids if they could afford it.
Well,
Men,
technically, some men do. Some men do. They might not know all of them. They might not know where they are. But I guarantee you, there's a couple Tyrodes out there with 30 plus fucking bastards running around.
And see, that's the hilarious part. These baby mamas, they never hold that Tyrone, Pookie, and Ray Ray accountable for having 20, 30, 40 kids. Because I guarantee you, 9 times out of 10, he can't afford to have that many kids. But they expect good average men that has stability in their lives to take care of kids that are not theirs.
Well, no, that's the thing. It's like because Pookie and Ray Ray have 30 plus families. If one family is giving them fucking grief, they can just go with one of the other 29.
Yep. And that's why these families, these broken families now, have no choice but to find a gullible simp.
Yeah, they need to find a man that's going to fucking stick around and provide for all these kids. Somebody got to pay.
Yeah, I remember that video. 12 fucking kids and they're living in a hotel. Oh my God. Where the fuck is CP at? See? Imagine if that was a man, a father with 12 kids stuck in a hotel room. CPS will become
can't fucking clothe them. Like can't clothe them. Like struggling for food, needing to get shit off the neighbors. Yeah, that man ain't holding on to his kids. So no, lady, like there were articles 40 years ago. There were probably articles 60 years ago about women complaining about how hard done by they are, and men read those articles. Like that's the rise of the fucking male feminist.
That's the only reason why you guys have so much authority today. It's because men were reading those articles 46 years ago.
Yeah. Men read shit that was written by women and foolishly believed it. So don't give the shit that women were fucking resilient and that they're thriving now because they never got handed anything. No, fuck that. You got handed fucking everything. And it was decades of fucking lying, a century plus of lying that you managed to erode male authority to the point that men can't get adequate compensation for what they put in.
And now they're complaining that there is no masculine men anymore. Where are the masculine men? Where are the strong? I wonder who's at fault.
You threw them in jail and made it very clear that they like the ones that tried shit, you put them in jail. The rest of them that weren't that foolish decided, you know what? I can see where I'm not wanted. I'm not going to hang around people that scream my name in anger at all times.
Then they just go monk mode.
Yeah,
Mode.
they fucked off, or where they're like, you know what? My chiseled fucking abs, I can't go to the beach without getting mobbed anymore. I can't take off my shirt without getting fucking swarmed. I can't go into the office like just dressed in a half decent suit without having a whole bunch of women shaking their ass at me and then threatening to go to HR if I don't bend them over the desk then and there. So fuck that. I'm going to get a goddamn beer gut right now.
And that actually happened with that Google employee. Got fired because she was she pretty much sexually assaulted this male employee. He rejected her advances and she got him fired. Just imagine if that was a man that canceled to oblivion. His sons will be canceled right now.
Yeah, like legit. That's a fucking feminist horror story about a male abuse of power. That the man wanted the woman to service him, and then when it didn't happen, he went and got her fired by spreading bad rumors. Like that's the kind of shit that would go out in feminist propaganda, and then as soon as a woman gets the chance, oh yeah, there she goes and fucking does it.
Hardcore projection, I swear, man.
Like at the very least, Harvey Weinstein didn't threaten to fire the women if they didn't fuck him. He just said, you know what? If I'm gonna get you into a role that you're clearly not qualified for, and that I could put literally any half decent looking bitch in, you better give me a little something extra to convince me that it should be you.
But if Weinstein got held accountable and went to jail, why can't that Google manager, the female Google manager, go to jail? She literally did the exact same thing as Weinstein did.
She did worse because, again, Weinstein didn't fire anybody because they wouldn't fuck him.
Well, yeah, fire. Yeah, I forgot about the fire part. But yeah, she did worse. But nothing happened to her. The only thing that's happening is he's going to court, like to sue her, because that's all he could do, I guess.
Because like, guess what? Like, what's happening though now? Again, like, we got to look at what she's saying. Let's flip it around. Women, for the first time in a century, are now reading articles about male struggles.
You know what? In her mind, that makes sense. It makes sense.
She's projecting and doing the exact same things. Like, well, no woman has cared in 100 years about the struggles of men, but now that male struggles are starting to affect women, they care.
Exactly. But they want to put it back on themselves. Like, no man bothered to read anything what a woman wrote.
No man helped us get to where we are today. We got here by being tough as nails and pulling ourselves up by our bootstraps and camaraderie and all that good shit. Like,
lady, the only reason you guys got this far is because of the fear of men's lives being ruined and going to jail.
No, that's the thing. Like, the only reason you got here is because men literally threatened other men to force them to do it.
Exactly. You know,
like everything that, like all the business shit, like everything that women have gotten has been because a man with a gun threatened another man.
Agreed. And what Andrew Tate said, right? Even though he's going through his little bullshit right now, whatever. Major grifter. Haha.
Whatever.
He's right when he said feminism is literally the only ideology in the world right now that cannot be defended by the people that support it. That's the only reason why wars has been happening in the first place, because two group of people are willing to fight and die for what they believe in. Do you really think that these modern women are willing to fight and die for feminism? No. They have to rely on men to defend the ideology for them. They will not fight and die for their own ideals. They won't. They know they can't win. That's why they coerce so badly the powers to be, the state, the government, law enforcement, boys in blue, to do their bidding for them.
Yeah.
Because if they weren't around, feminism would die.
Yeah, the instant the protection, the instant the enforcement goes away, it's not even protection. Because if it was just the baseline protection, women wouldn't be anywhere in the workforce. It is because men have said, hey, other men, if you do not put a woman into your office, I am going to take away your ability to make money. And if you attempt to make money without my approval, I will have you shot.
Pretty much. So, yeah, the enforcement plays the most crucial, right? Because once again, men don't want to go to jail. They don't want to go to prison. They don't want to, get fired or their reputation is ruined to the point where they can't even show their face in public.
Yeah. So they will put women in the least destructive, most isolated positions that they can. And normally, like from what I've seen personally, on the smaller scale, it is usually the spouse of the business owner who ends up holding some kind of figurehead position, or maybe they have a skill that they are somewhat adequate at, and they just hold that position, but it's entirely separated from the entire rest of the largely male workforce.
Sit in the office and do nothing.
Yeah. You sit in the office away from the job site, just do shit there and communicate only with the boss via text messages and phone calls. That's it.
And with that type of job, because of affirmative action, they get paid just as much or more than the men that are actually doing their jobs.
Yeah. And they are also taking a job away from men, because it's entirely possible that a man would be able to do that exact same desk job better, but they're not allowed to because the woman has to be somewhere. And we see the same thing with the diversity hires, like all these people that tech hired because they had a whole bunch of fucking startup capital to burn through. And so they blew a whole bunch of money on pointless bullshit and diversity hires. And then when the crunch comes and they need to start laying people off, it's the women and the diversity hires who didn't actually add any objective value to the company. Yeah,
Elon Musk is a prime example. Yeah. He was actually nice about it. He said, "Hey, I'm going to put you to work. This is not going to be a fun time. You will be staying extra hours, put in that work. So it's either you can stay and keep your job, or I will give you a severance pay for the next few months and I'll let you go." Like we saw in that picture.
Yeah.
Literally almost all women left.
Yeah, but like this particular quarter, like January and the start of February, has been a bloodbath in the tech industry.
Oh yeah, left and right. What was the last major layout? Was it Google?
Yeah, Google.
How many?
It was either like 7 or like 13% of their employees, I think.
And like once again, like at least Elon Musk was nice about it. At least he gave them a chance to keep their jobs, but they didn't want to put in any type of work, like literally proving our points even more. They would much rather take that quick check and not put in the extra hours. All the men are like, shit, we can actually do our jobs without a bunch of nagging?
Yeah.
Cool.
So apparently tech industry since January has laid off over around 50,000 people. And the computer maker Dell says that it's cutting 6,600 jobs.
Damn, I wish we had the data of how many of them were women compared to men.
Yeah, like I'd have to look in more detail. Like Amazon cut 18,000, Salesforce 8,000, Coinbase 950, Microsoft 10,000 jobs. 5% of Microsoft has been fired. 12,000 from Google, 6%. Spotify 6,600. SAP, which is a software company in Europe, 3,000, 2.5%. PayPal, 7%.
I wonder, once again, chat, I don't even have the actual numbers, but I guarantee you, majority of them were women.
Like literally, there's been, I say, hold on. Like, actually, let me find, because there was actually, they complained about this. That's how we'll get the actual numbers. All I have to do is like Google tech layoffs, women. Yeah, how neutral layoffs disproportionately affect women and minorities. Oh wait, no, this is back in 2016. Hold on. Oh yeah, women minorities losing guard in tech layoffs.
But I guarantee you, it's more the women than the minorities.
Yeah, let me.
Because the women were just there, just sitting there getting paid. That's it, and they know this. They add no other.
No, got it. Yeah, here's the thing. I found one. So
What's up?
layoffs.fyi found that women represented about 39% of the overall workforce, but 46% of all layoffs since September.
That's a damn. They they pull the whole Thanos snap. God damn, that's a lot. That's a lot of women getting fired.
Yeah. So like of all the but now here's the funny thing. They're complaining. Still the minority. 46% is still less than 50%.
Agreed.
So the majority of layoffs have still been men. It's like those 1 in 4 homeless people are women. This is a problem. It's still one of those. The majority of people laid off are still men. It's still mostly men being laid off. But
we don't hear them complaining.
But since it's almost half women, it's a problem.
Yep. Like I said, they expect equity. Equality my ass.
Like it's only 7% different. Like 39% of the overall workforce, 46% of all layoffs. So like if it was perfectly even across the board, it would be 39% of women laid off and 61% of men. Like if it was a perfectly equal cut where they were really, really trying to only cut the proper amount of women proportionate to their workforce.
They only expect equal outcome, not just equal opportunity, chat. Equal outcome.
No. They don't expect equal. They expect better, right?
Well,
let's
better,
be honest.
yeah.
They'd fucking bitch if any woman got fired. Like there is no percentage of women low enough that this would not be complaint worthy.
But majority of men getting fired, crickets.
Yeah, and I'm willing to bet that the tech companies specifically tried their damnedest to make sure that they weren't firing majority women.
Hey, do you want to do a part 2 on this, or do you want to continue the entire video tonight? Because Chronic is getting on in like 30 minutes.
Chronic getting on?
Like 30 minutes. So do you just want to just go through it?
Let's keep going for another 30 minutes, and maybe we'll come back and do a part 2 because, like honestly,
hey, fuck it, I'll be awake. I'm saying I'll be awake.
Yeah, well, I didn't get a lot of sleep last night, and I got to be up at the crack of fucking dawn to commute an hour. Then it's got to be a part 2, man. Like,
okay,
I have a fucking atrocious commute right now, so.
Oh, it's no biggie to me. It's no biggie. We can do a part 2 tomorrow. One once again, I didn't expect Chronic to be on today, but
We
I already
never
know
expect-
everybody's for the green skin. You know, the lower Kush.
we never expect Chronic to be on, and then he's like, "Yeah, Gorilla Stream, let's go."
Yeah, he's very sporadic when it comes to that shit, but it's all good. We're used to it.
Yeah.
Let's continue.
Yeah, men weren't buying the feminine mystique in droves. They were
No,
like that.
no.
That was not
Or
the
Simone de
target demo.
Beauvoir.
Yeah, right.
You know, and the thing that I thought was very interesting was when some of the economists, actually one who I knew, Alan Kruger, who is an incredible, thoughtful man, who is the head of the economics department at Princeton. He's since passed away. He was cited in this article so many interesting things. Roughly a third of non-working men reported some kind of disability. Of those men, nearly half were taking pain medication and opioids on a daily basis. And
I wonder why. Probably
they're-
because the men does the most strenuous jobs in society. That's
Yeah.
one reason.
Yeah, their work fucking hurts. And it's tough to do. And I don't care how many fucking regulations you shove out there saying, oh, well, you need to lift like this and move like this. Like, motherfucker, I have almost died twice on the job in the last year alone. Okay.
Agreed. And
Like it's quite frankly a miracle that I am not crippled and or underground right now.
yeah, I survive off of ibuprofen. Very powerful ibuprofen. Okay. Because all the craziness that I had to do when I was in the military. And that's not the only thing I'm taking. But just for pain alone, that men have to do, you know, the oil rigs, minefields, hell, even the garbage man. All these crazy things that we have to do. What's up?
No, sorry, I'm just looking through Wikipedia. So this bitch just complained that no one was reading the feminine mystique.
Right.
And I quote, politicians increasingly recognize women's frustrations due in part to Friedman's work. The Equal Pay Act of 1963, signed into law June 10th, stipulated women receive the same pay as men for the same work. On October 11th of the same year, the Presidential Commission on Status of Women issued its final report making recommendations to further end inequities. So, this book, which she's saying men didn't read, literally contributed to laws being made. It was published in 1963, the same year as the Equal Pay Act went out. So bullshit that this wasn't being paid attention to or that men didn't give a shit. Literally laws were made around this kind of stuff. And this took me like all I had to do was go to the Wikipedia page. Like, say what you want about fucking Wikipedia as a source, but if I can counter a fucking feminist just by casually reading through the Wikipedia page.
Yeah. Well, like I said, they're just talking out their ass. They don't really. They're going off of feelings, you know, how they feel.
Yeah, and apparently also women were against this too.
Really?
Yeah, significant numbers of women responded angrily to the book, which they felt implied that wives and mothers could never be fulfilled. And I quote, women who valued their roles as mothers and housewives interpreted Friedman's message as one that threatened their stability, devalued their labor, and disrespected their intelligence. In a letter to the editor in McCall's, one woman wrote, all this time I thought I was happy and a nice person. Now I discover I've been miserable and some sort of monster in disguise. Now out of disguise. How awful. Another said, Miss Friedman should save her pity for those who really need it, the half-starved, oppressed people in the world.
Very ironic of what's happening today, where countless women now they want to be wives, stay-at-home moms. It's very hilarious.
So not only does this fucking granny bitch say that, well, men didn't pay attention when literally laws were signed because of books like that, but she is also ignoring the many women that were against that kind of book. So
They don't want-
fuck
yeah.
you, bitch. Like, this is why you need to have 3 other women, all of whom agree with you, to bounce your fucking ideas off of. Because as soon as you encounter someone who's even the slightest bit skeptical and decides to double check your claims, your shit falls apart like a fucking bridge made out of wet spaghetti.
I'll be surprised that there was a bridge made with wet spaghetti. But I get what you're saying, man. They really are just talking out their ass.
Well, you know, it didn't start as wet spaghetti, but you made a fucking bridge with support column made out of spaghetti. So
Well, we know about the group of female engineers that built that one bridge. so-
precisely, like architects are fucking crazy, and female engineers don't know how to make architects bullshit work.
So, yeah, you're completely correct on that one. But when it comes to taking opioids and medication, I wonder why there's a significantly higher rate of men taking these type of medication.
Yeah.
Like,
Now,
how are you gonna act so shocked and surprised, Granny? You've been around longer than me.
here's sorry. Go back. Let's get the numbers that she pointed out again. Let's hear those numbers just real quick.
All right.
He's since passed away. He was cited in this article so many interesting things. Roughly a third of non-working men reported some kind of disability. Of those men, nearly half were taking pain medication and opioids on a daily basis.
Okay, so 1/3 of men not employed cite some kind of disability, probably an injury taken on the job.
Agreed.
About half of those men, so 1/6 of unemployed men, are on opioids or pain medication. Now, let's see how many women are on fucking head meds.
I think it's 1 out of 3 now. It used to be 1 out of 4. Now it's 1 out of 3 women.
Yeah, let me just see if I can get. Yeah, so I found something from 2011. From 2001 to 2010, 1 in 4 women is dispensed medication for a mental health condition. Now, this is not unemployed women. This is all women.
Yep. And once again, recently it's been announced that it turned into 1/3 now.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of fucking women on these meds.
So 1 in 6 unemployed men are on pain medication because they work too hard, whereas 1 in 3 women are just fucking crazy.
Well, when you put it like that, like, that is fucking nuts. Okay. They're spoiled and nuts. Oh shit. But let's continue this fucking shenanigans.
And there I was like, this is interesting, because when you actually look at a lot of what they're saying, these are also, if you do research into like QAnon or tools that the Ku Klux Klan uses to recruit people, these are the people they target, which is why
right, I forgot that they were going to bring up QAnon and the KKK.
Remind me, what is QAnon again?
I'm honestly not entirely sure.
Yeah, I don't know what that. I know.
Like, I think, like, when I hear QAnon, I think like 4chan.
Hey, chat. What is QAnon? What is that?
Like, let me. I'll check Wikipedia because I'm not going to check the New York.
Well, Peck is spelled it like this:
I mean,
QAnon.
yeah, QAnon. It's probably short for like Questions Anonymous. But it
okay.
basically like points to the Hollywood sexuals in high places of office.
Ah, jeez. But
Yeah, first post by Q. Yeah, it's basically 4chan 4chan saying things that are again, it's like 4chan's politically incorrect board. That's basically QAnon.
Oh, okay. So the place where the feds like to lurk,
Yeah,
waiting for somebody slipping.
Like, again, it's like politically incorrect, like anonymous people on the internet talking about the crazy bullshit that the government is up to, and so it's like, oh well, they're clearly like hardcore conspiracy theorists. Like, let me put it this way: QAnon has very politically incorrect opinions about the Jimmy Jab.
Yeah. And fun fact, chat, you're not as anonymous as you think you are. So just tread carefully. Or if you don't give a fuck, go for it.
Like, you know, try a VPN, but like,
Just don't say anything fucking nuts. You can speak your mind, but don't go all, Alu snack bar.
yeah, at the very least, if you're gonna say shit, try to use words that the algorithm isn't going to immediately pick up and get you. I'm not going to say added to the database because I'm sure everyone here is in the database, but given a higher priority in the database.
Pretty much. But she also mentioned the Klansmen.
KKK, which
So the 1/3 of men being unemployed and half of that are on some medication and opioids. Klansmen like to use that to their advantage.
I guess like that's the recruit. What she's saying is that these type of men, which are most affected by pain and suffering, are prime targets for conspiracy theorists and racist recruitment.
Huh, funny because KKK walks them on various parts of life. They can be your doctor. They can be a lawyer. They can be your librarian. You don't know because they wear fucking hoodies. So, yeah.
Yeah, and keep in mind, like Yeetus, I'm pretty sure that you, in the minds of many right now, are a white supreme pizza.
Man,
So,
a black
like,
man thinking for themselves? He can't be black.
did you get your like hood and white card and Confederate flag in the mail yet? Because I'm pretty sure that those go out like on the 1st of the month.
Oh no, not yet. I'm just waiting for the last fees I have to pay for. Then they're going to give me a brochure so they can explain about their various events.
Remember, like all you have to do is like put a swastika on some random black dude's car, and a little while later, then you will receive your hoodie and Confederate flag in the mail. Like.
Well, it was based on a true story of a black man pretending to be pretending to be part of the KKK. That's based on a true story.
Yeah, and then it's funny because I remember a TED talk where this one black dude like sat down with some card carrying KKK members and talked to them, and they actually became friends. And the guys were like, "Nah, like this dude's like he's one of the good." He's one of the good black guys. He ain't like the others, which.
God damn it. Okay. I'm sorry. I deal with that as well, throughout my life. Like, you were different kind. What the fuck you mean that? What do you mean by that? Hold up. Like, what do you mean different?
Yeah, well, let's be honest. Like we've. Like, maybe put it this way: you don't go shopping $999 at a time in California and take the 100% discount.
Oh shit! And on top of that, I don't speak in the secret language called Ebonics.
I mean, well, let's be honest. Like, at the very least. I have an easier, I'll admit, as someone who had to fucking translate Ebonics for one of my ghost parody videos, it's easier to understand and slightly less brain melting than what we have to listen to right now.
Pretty much. I completely agree. Because I can definitely speak Ebonics. I just choose not to. It's all about what crowd you hang around with, right? So
I can't speak it, but I can fucking translate it.
shit, you were translating it like it was hieroglyphics. Like you were going in, bro.
Oh, in the fucking parody video, man, no, that was just a 1-to-1 recreation of it. Like I didn't actually translate it. That was just a faithful transcription. I really should have translated it because the video's goddamn incomprehensible.
I don't speak California. But let's continue this video because I already know it's gonna go downhill from here.
I think it's interesting for us to understand sort of what's going on here. But they lost me then when they were like, and the quality of video games is shot through the roof, and that's been a real problem. It's like, could you imagine?
So here's what was my biggest issue when I watched this yesterday. She goes from that Question Anonymous site to Klansmen to video games. Like, where is this going? That's where I got like lost. I got lost in the sauce because I'm like, I don't know what is her point, because she literally doesn't have a point. She's just rambling on. It's crazy, bro. It's crazy.
Yeah, if I let me try to reverse engineer it. So she's reading the list of reasons why men like aren't participating in the workforce or aren't as engaged in modern society, aren't fulfilling like all their shit. Because they're talking about like why so many men are unemployed. And so she goes into the reasons, well, they're on pain medication and they're injured. And she tangents into, and those are the ones that are primarily recruited by the racists and the conspiracy theorists. And then she goes, and then the article says, I'm pretty sure that, wasn't this a book? Why do they keep saying article? I thought that this was a review of a book. So is she talking about, does the article say something about video games, or does the book say something about video games? I'm pretty sure they don't know they're not clear about what's what. But like, let's assume that she's reading the review.
Yeah,
like, they keep saying article, but it's a book review. And what saying is like, oh, and video games have gotten good. Okay, so the book review mentions that the quality of video games are better, and that's part of the reason why men are no longer participating in the workforce. Well,
that doesn't make any sense.
Well, I mean,
I know people that spend hours and hours.
The quality of the games going up. Well, they're more accessible. Like gaming is the
more
largest media industry in the world.
Yeah.
Like, it makes the most money. People spend a shit ton on gaming rigs, and it's engaging and fulfilling. Not to mention, people actually can make money playing video games with the advent of streaming.
True, they can make money now. I agree.
So
I get what you're saying.
So dropping out of the traditional labor force because video games are better than they were 30, 40 years ago. Yeah. Because also they're more satisfied because games are also cheap. Like think about this. Think about what it costs to go to the movies. Not even today. Like, let's go back 10 years. If you were just to go to the movie and just watch the movie, no snacks, no overpriced anything, just you alone going to the movie.
That'll be $6, $5.
Let's say five. Let's lowball it. $5.
Okay, $5.
$5 for a 2-hour movie. again, let's say $5, you get a movie that's 2 hours long. 2
Right.
hours of entertainment for $5. Now I'm going to go back 10 years to Mass Effect. Like Mass Effect 1, I don't think ever got over $60 like to buy it. And when I played that game through once and 100%ed it, 40 hours. So to get the equivalent of 40 hours, 20 trips to the movies at $5 a pop would literally cost you $100. A video game provides the same length of entertainment for like half the price.
Agreed. And yeah, I also agree with the replayability.
Yeah, like that's assuming just one playthrough. Because
Yeah.
every time you go watch the movie in theaters, you have to pay again. A video game you buy once and then you just keep playing it. Not to
Yep.
mention, we have home consoles now. We've come a long way since you had to go out to an arcade and shove a quarter in every time you wanted to hit the continue button.
Agreed.
Nowadays,
Yep.
we have a game that is a 40 plus hour epic. Like I'm over 30 hours into Elden. Like I'm literally 33 hours into my current playthrough of Elden Ring. 11 sessions. I'm not even halfway done.
Yep. And at this point, you can revisit video games decades later if you still have your account or have your console with you. You can
Or you know
the
how
rest of your
to
life.
or you know how to get to the right spots on the internet. You've got even a mildly okay PC.
Right. So I agree with what you're saying that, yeah, okay, the quality of video games is, yeah, it definitely improved over the years.
Yeah, like it improved, but it also made entertainment cheaper.
Yep.
Like, because now you don't need to spend as much to go do X, Y, Z. You don't need to travel to a beach. You don't need to go out to the club. Not to mention, basically everywhere that males would have recreation has been ruined.
Wait, what'd you say? Say it one more time?
Basically everywhere males would have recreation has been ruined.
Pretty much. Yeah, it's no point because
Like
everything.
video-
What's up?
like gaming with your friend, like gaming with the boys while on Discord chat, playing Call of Duty, that's about as close as you get to fucking poker night these days.
Yeah, I remember when I was a child. You know, it was split screen time.
Yeah.
You got the boys over at least.
Yeah.
You know,
So-
that was good times.
So, like, the entertainment is high quality and cheaper, so men don't need to spend as much money. So, why do they need to work their ass off when the entertainment that would cost an arm and a leg, like a fucking Caribbean cruise or whatever, like they're satisfied with a fucking video game?
Yep. And at this point, they can literally go to a different universe, aka virtual reality. They only got to drop a couple $100, and then bam, they're entertained for a long time.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a lot of free games too on VR.
Oh, shit ton of free games.
So I agree what you're saying, Gray. I agree.
So, but that's the thing. But this woman, she doesn't get it because, like
Oh,
she's
yeah,
straight,
she doesn't
like
get it.
she straight up does it. She's like, "Oh, and they lost me at video games." Like, yeah, that's because you don't play video games because video games don't let you to manipulate real people, so you don't find it enjoyable.
Yep. And video games these days won't, cheat on you or divorce you and take all your shit, nag you to death. So the fact that men don't even have to worry about taking care of a spouse or children at the moment, that also contributes.
Like, seriously, women, you are so unpleasant that men would literally rather marry simulations of you, fucking holograms of you, than deal with your flesh and blood bodies.
I remember that story from Japan of that man marrying an AI. That was crazy. I was like, wow.
Yeah, and like, let's be honest, like, plenty like, women, like, you're not necessary women, and you are more boring than video games. Because that's the other thing. Like, men would just go out and hang out with women for fucking entertainment. You became unpleasant, and video games filled the fucking niche, and it wasn't hard to do.
Agreed, right? Well, on average, let's say just estimate, 10 minutes of pleasure does not equate to hours, days, years, or even decades of misery.
And I fuck beyond that, just like women became not just unpleasant for the bedroom stuff, but guys who would actually, you know, just enjoy hanging out with a woman in a non-sexual context. Because that was a thing once upon a time.
That is true. And women, honestly, they act all confused. Like, where's the men? Where are they? They're nowhere to be found. I'm like, if you were a lot more pleasant than you are right now, I guarantee you men will be around in a heartbeat, but you're just unbearable. No person, man or woman, wants to be around wants to be around a fucking headache. All right.
Yeah,
of course they're gonna steer clear from you.
And as soon as they taste something better, they're gonna ditch your asses. The only time that they do hang around you is when they don't think that they have any other option, and this is as good as it gets.
Agreed.
That's why the fucking overseas women are taking out in the passport bros, because all it takes is a woman treating a man with a basic amount of fucking decency and respect. And he's like, fuck these modern women. I'm going overseas where I'm treated fucking decently. And there's women overseas, they'll look at the Western woman and go, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you doing this? Why are you such a bitch?
I want to talk about that tomorrow, actually. I might do a stream, because there's literally a war right now between foreign women and Western women through social media.
Oh, hell yeah.
Cool.
Like we can come back and do part 2, because what? Is Chronic going to start up like now? Because
yeah, I'm going to keep going until I see that he's live. Because he tends to, you know, relax and do his own thing for a bit. But really, at the moment, overall, we only got through what? Close to 10 minutes of it?
Yeah, about 10 minutes. 3 hours to get through 10 minutes.
Damn, you serious? Whew. Where's the they said that he started, but I don't see anything. I don't see any stream.
It's up. I've got to open another tab.
It's up, but he didn't start.
Yeah, he hasn't started yet. So yeah, let's listen to another sentence or two before my brain decides to evacuate.
And sort of what's going on here. But they lost me then when they were like, and the quality of video games is shot through the roof. And that's been a real problem. It's like, could you imagine if I was like, do you want to know why women weren't working that much in the 80s? Fucking the quality of Days of Our Lives was through the roof. And they were just like, you know what? Not for me.
Hold up. I have to, one more time.
Or tools that the Ku Klux Klan used for us to understand the problem. It's like, could you imagine if I was like, do you want to know why women weren't working that much in the 80s? Fucking the quality of Days of Our Lives was through the roof. And they were
Did she say quality or equality?
No, the quality. Basically saying, can you imagine me saying that women weren't working in the 80s because Days of Our Lives was a really good TV show at the time?
Well, that did happen, yeah. I do see what you're saying. I just couldn't understand what you're saying, quality or equality.
She was saying the quality of Days of Our Lives. It's like, well, how many of y'all fucking take time off work just to sit at home and binge Netflix in your pajamas?
How
many of you have nothing else going on in your life because all you do is watch television and eat?
A lot of them, countless of them. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, but guess what? Like, because you know what? I think we could absolutely say that I wouldn't be surprised if Netflix has coincided with a whole bunch of women leaving the workforce because now they don't need to go out to see a movie and it's cheaper to watch it on one streaming service. So
That's true.
Yeah, so like, she's laughing at it, but I'm like, you know what? If you told me that television's gotten so good that women dropped out of the workforce, I'd believe it.
Yeah, I believe it too. I believe
Especially since it's catered specifically towards women.
Yeah, but we got to end it right now. No,
I,
no closing thoughts, none of that shit. There's a part 2 tomorrow. It's your boys.
Well,
what's
part
up?
part two later. We'll probably do passport shit tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah, part 2 later on. We're going to be doing something else, but there will be a part 2. It's your boy, Sirius. Thank you, everybody, for joining. And, of course, the Great Ghost, he's not even close to done. We only did 10 minutes of this, so we might even have a part 3. But I will see you over there on Chronic Stream. See you guys tomorrow. I am out. We are out. Peace.
Peace out.